want to come back to that because that you've now made to me a very striking claim, namely that we should, I think you're saying, disbelieve all claims for which there is not sufficient evidence.
So
not just that we should take an agnostic position, but we should disbelieve them. That's two different things.
Oh, so if you mean disbelieve as in believe they are not true, that's the exact opposite of what I just said.
Okay.
Okay, but what about near-death experiences or people who have died for a little bit and then has been resuscitated? Those people.
Yeah, that's what a near-death experience is. It's they don't actually die, buddy. I know it's still a near death. They didn't actually die and then get reset. That's what makes them the near-death part. But anyway, we're gonna get into this. And it's weird that like all the near-death experiences tend to align with whatever their beliefs are. So if they're Hindu, they see Vishnu. If they're Muslim, they see, Muhammad. It's weird how that seems to always work if there's one objective experience that they'd all be having, which is what you would expect if this was, if these things were in any way an indicator of like what actually is happening there. But anyway, I'm Brentley. This is the Punk Apostate. We're going to get into this. Let's go. And we got here. Let's see. So this is, I think his name's Elijah, and he just does these reaction videos, right? He's, I think he might have been one of the ones that the genetically modified skeptic covered the other day, basically saying that they don't really say anything. They have like two things that they add to the whole video or whatever. But yeah, it was just kind of interesting. I totally forgot about this debate that Matt Dillahunty had with Dinesh D'Souza, and so I kind of was just like, yeah, I just kind of want to watch that, see what's going on there.
Get right into it. So this atheist tries to debunk God because there's no proof according to him. Let's get right into it.
The God front, maybe you have something better than anybody else has come up with. What is the reasonable warrant for accepting that there's a God at all?
Okay, let me try to answer that.
I feel like he was trying to make that like impactful or something, like all the music. There was like this, I don't know if y'all could hear it as loud as me, but it's like this really profound sounding music in the background, right? And then it just all stops. It's like, okay, well, let me see if I can show you this. And then it just sort of falls off because he doesn't say much.
I start with the fact that here we are flung into the world with no.
That was like a hold on. This face is great.
I start with the fact
this
that
is
here
like,
we are flung into the world.
That's like the cocaine guy face. If you've ever done, if you've ever had a friend that was on cocaine and was trying to tell you something that they think is really serious, this is the face that has made probably 90% of that conversation. Oh yeah, bro? Huh? Bro. You have no idea. It was, oh my God, it was incredible. Now look, check this out. No, hold on. I'm getting there. You're like, oh my God, this guy thinks like this story is way better than what it is. No, go ahead. No, yeah, you're good, man. Knock it out the park to you, I guess.
With no clear understanding of where the universe came from.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he doesn't say anything. I barely even count this as reacting, okay? Because I pause it so much. It's just my video, okay? And no, but yes, yeah, we are into reaction.
Not the Earth, but the universe. B, why we're here and what the purpose of our life is. And C, what, if anything, happens to us after we die. I would argue that, so we are in a very peculiar position where human beings were flung into the world, and the three of the most important questions we could possibly ask, we have no answer to. Now
I'm going to agree with you.
Do you agree or you not agree?
I'm going to agree with you on two of the three. The middle one on purpose, I think, assumes there's a purpose that there's been no demonstration there's a purpose to it.
What, if any, purpose we have for our life? Okay, so now we are in agreement that on the three cardinal questions,
Yeah, because like purpose is something that
We are
it is like another one of those things where it's like the word meaning, right? And they're like, what's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of the universe? And it's like meaning has to be attributed to somebody, man. Like it's same thing with purpose. It's like the purpose to whom? That's the whole point. It's like it's not some objective thing. That's what, but they just want like their purpose to align with whatever the reason we exist in the universe is. And it's just like I don't think those two things are ever going to be connected.
are in a certain kind of blindness. We're in a certain kind of blind ignorance because we don't know, correct?
So I don't. So if we start it, you're saying we're flung into this universe without an understanding of the origin of the universe, the purpose of life, or what happens afterwards.
Right, where the universe came from,
Yes.
who, if anyone, or
Sure.
what made it, if anyone. B, what the purpose of our life is, if any. And C, what, if anything, happens to us after we die.
We are in violent agreement right now.
Perfect.
Violent.
Now, the second question arises.
Is violent. That was I said something. I really just repeated a word. I don't even know why I'm here. I just did. What am I doing? I should just let this video be its own thing or something.
What does science have to say about these three questions? Can science either now, and if it can't now, settle these matters in the future? Let's look at them one by one. Let's take them in reverse order.
Sure.
Can science decide the matter of whether or not there is life after death? Yes or no?
It depends.
Depends on what?
So science only deals with the natural world.
Correct.
And so if in fact there's a supernatural existence after this, then it may forever be beyond the purview of science.
Correct. Or if there is another universe that operates according to different laws and we happen to move somehow into that universe, science would have nothing to say about it. Correct?
Okay, but we have no reason to think any of that stuff. That's the whole point here, is that you have to have reasons to think things, right? Like, okay, what could happen? There could be a fucking what is it? An eternal matrix of just being plugged into a reality that's plugged into a reality that's plugged into a reality that's controlled by another reality that's controlled by another reality. It's just like we were saying with the reacception, but just matrixception, right? Just constantly waking up out of realities. And this is the next one's actually that could be, but I got no reason to fucking think that. You know what I mean? Like that. There's no like just because I can't demonstrate that isn't the case. I got no reason to think that is the case. So it's just it's silly to act like that is even one of the possibilities, because I feel like possibility needs to be demonstrated, but like it's just funny. I don't know. It's just weird when they're like, but it could be. It's like, yeah, we could be the universe could exist within a fucking unicorn fart or something. I don't know. Like anything could be, right? We could be like our universe could be a molecule inside a leprechaun. Okay, I got no reason to think that, though. That's the thing.
Correct,
Not necessarily, because
Okay.
if it's a natural, like we have like hypotheses about a multiverse or whatever.
Correct.
I can't say what science will be able to test for in the future, or whether or not we are permanently confined to the cosmos that we experience. I can't say. I can't even rule out. I can't say that science could never say anything about the supernatural. All I can say is that as it stands right now, I'm unaware of any supernatural claim that has any evidence for it that science could evaluate to determine that it was true.
Right. Let's put it a little differently because I don't want to debate the detail here. I just want to look at the macro picture. And what I'm basically saying,
yeah, that's because that's a lot easier when you start getting into detail and like what we actually have evidence for. It kind of falls apart real quick.
is Shakespeare said,
Because like they're constantly talking about like the life after death thing. To me, I'm like I feel like we don't have any good reason to think that at all. Everything we do know about our existence and the way our brains work and the way we experience things kind of shows that we don't have like that. Once the lights go out, there's nothing to be experiencing shit anymore. That's it. We don't have any reason to think anything other than that. And we've literally seen how brain damage can change personalities and stuff. So it's not like there's a ghost in the machine. But anyway.
I think correctly, death is the undiscovered country. No one has been to the other side of the curtain.
Death is the undiscovered country. Good one, man. That was good. Can somebody write that down? Can I get one of those little like black and white, like, quote thingies? You know what I'm saying? And I look all smart sitting in an armchair, just have that like a whole black thing and then white writing it. I need one of those for that. With that one though.
And essentially reported, giving us empirical evidence one way or the other, correct? We don't know what happens
I
after
don't-
death.
So,
True?
see, here's the thing, and I promise I'm not being difficult. This is just for clarity.
Yeah, you are, Matt. You're always being difficult. It's all right. That's why we love you. Just making things difficult for these assholes over here. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Feeling all right? It's Monday, you know, and just trucking along, right? Let's see who won today. Drusilla. All right. Hell yeah. And Michael second. What's up, dude? Hey. Hey, and full frontal investigation. What's up, Alex? How we doing, man? And Carrie's here too. Hell yeah. All right, cool. Oh, and Al's here. Saying hey to people. Right on. What else we got? All right, I'm gonna take it down to the current, and then we'll go from there.
As a skeptic, my position is not, you know, like when the psychics who claim that they're speaking with the dead. My position is not they're wrong and that's bullshit. My position is they cannot demonstrate that what they're actually doing is what they claim. And so I can't say nobody's been to the other side and communicated back. I can just say there's no reliable evidence for it. And I don't know what shape that evidence would take in order to demonstrate that.
Okay, I want to come back to that because that you've now made to me a very striking claim, namely that we should, I think you're saying, disbelieve all claims for which there is not sufficient evidence.
So
They always have trouble with this for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, I mean, you're saying like you disbelieve. Yeah, I'm not convinced of stuff I don't have reasons to be convinced of. So I get, but like if you're saying I do think that it's false or whatever, and I would stand by that, I wouldn't need to. I don't feel like I need to say that because I don't have any reason to think that it is true. I don't have to go that extra step and be like, I know that it's fucking false now. Like I don't need to do that because I just don't have reason to think it's true.
Not just that we should take an agnostic position, but we should disbelieve them.
James,
That's two
what's up,
different
dude?
things.
Oh, so if you mean disbelieve as in believe they are not true, that's the exact opposite of what I just said.
Okay.
Okay, but what about near-death experiences or people who have died for a little bit and then has been resuscitated? Those people all have really similar experiences.
They're really not. You just seem to like look probably for the ones that are similar, as long as they have to deal with this Jesus fellow. But they're not actually very similar at all. The only similarities are easily explained by things like neuroscience, like the light at the end of the tunnel type of syndrome, whatever. Like we have reason, you know, we have good evidence to suggest that that's a neurological function. Has to do with like blood draining out of the brain or something. Can't really remember exactly. Carrie said, I'm super happy this morning because someone was unnecessarily generous for my benefit. That's such a great way to say that. I like that. And that's great. I'm so glad there are still those people out there. You know, it's just you'd think, given the way everything seems out there, that's not something that happens anymore. But it's not true. That's not true. There's still humans left. You know, there's still some like ones that aren't insane and hateful left. So that's good. It's a positive. That's a, you know, I'm trying to put a pot like somehow I'm like making a negative spin out of the positive thing that you just it's like, yeah, because usually people are fucking terrible. And like that's not what I was. Keep having a good day is my point there. I don't listen to
Isn't
me.
that a little bit, wouldn't that be considered evidence when over a repeatable amount of time people have the same experience when they die?
They don't have the same experience though. If you change cultures, man, like that's the thing. You keep on saying that they all have the same experience as long as they're Christian, dude. You're like, oh yeah, so many Christians, and even those Christians don't have the same experience. My grandfather, he had a near-death experience when he had, I think it was a stroke or one of his heart attacks. He had strokes, heart attacks, he had all that shit, right? And he what he described was nothing like anything anybody describes as like a, you know, going to heaven thing. And he was very religious, so it was very odd that he didn't experience like the hallway or whatever. He just said that he just all of a sudden felt really cold and he felt like he was flying through space, through darkness, and then he saw a light, and then the light came, like he went towards the light, and then the light became the doctor's faces, and he came back. That was it. That was his experience. Nothing religious happened, which is kind of just seriously odd given how fucking religious that dude was. You know what I mean? So they're not all the same is my point. And I think, the thing is too, he's a very honest person. And sometimes I think people are just like making up stories. I mean, that is just a fact. We know people do that. you know, but I don't think he would want it. You know, he wouldn't say it, I don't think, if he didn't think it was true. You know what I mean? So
That means something. But at the end of the day, no one really knows what happened.
What I said was we should believe.
I mean, we
things-
know what happens. That's the thing that is like, we don't know what the experience is like specifically, but we know what happens. The brain stops working, the body shuts down. We know, and then everything's done, and then the blood sits still, and then there's no more nothing. There's no more life there. We know what actually does happen. We just don't know what that experience feels like. But I got no good reason to think that the experience even keeps going on, given that I don't even experience things most nights when I fall asleep. You know, sometimes I'll dream or whatever, but like a lot of times it's darkness, you know? So like I feel like that's probably gonna be pretty similar to the, you know, final sleep or whatever, right?
Things when there's evidence for it, and that is both the proposition that the supernatural is real and the proposition that the supernatural is not real. You
Okay.
can so agnosticism isn't some middle ground between
Yeah,
believing X and believing not X.
100%. Yep. Carrie said, everyday kindness rocks. I agree. It is nice. It's nice that's still out there. Because, you know, the world is, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go into that again.
There is no middle ground. You are either convinced of X or you are not convinced of X. And I'm not convinced that the supernatural is real. That doesn't mean that I'm convinced that the supernatural isn't real. It's kind of like if you go into a courtroom.
Okay.
What's up, Nitty? How are you doing? What's going on? Oh, and Feckinal. What's up, dude? People said, I'm religious equals I'm gullible. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Albert Camus calls it philosophical. Well, I can't say that word. Self-unalivement. Yeah. Yeah. That's what he calls it, because it's just like if you hand your meaning over to somebody else that's prescribing it to you, it's like just kind of like committing philosophical. Like you just like, no, you decide what philosophically means stuff to me. Like you decide what meaning, what I should find meaningful. Here, go. Here, give me my meaning, please. Like that's philosophical self-unalignment to them. It's pretty cool. Let's see. So, hi, Carrie. I read you had a nice day. My day was fine as well. Kind customers is a miracle. This is all too wholesome around here. I don't know. This isn't the Mr. Rogers fucking show. Okay. I don't know what's. I'm just kidding. No, keep it wholesome. You know, we need some positive vibes going on here. Okay. You know, chakras align. I'm just kidding. I don't believe in chakras.
I may have to say not guilty, even if I'm not convinced of innocence, because the burden of proof is on the claim of guilt. And so the people who say, I have good evidential warrant to believe in the supernatural, have adopted a burden of proof, and they have to meet it. And until they do, I am not convinced.
Okay, but let's be clear about what that burden of proof is, because I'm not saying I have definitive proof that God exists or these are his attributes. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't know if there is a God in the sense of no. I call myself a believer. Now, right away, we distinguish between a believer and a knower, right?
Sure.
It's an
Now,
important
it's a
distinction.
subset of
More cocaine faces. I love it. Yeah. You know.
I believe there's a place called Papua New Guinea because I trust maps and I've studied about it.
No, you got reasons. Those things. You got those for that existing.
And
I always go with like other planets, because I feel like a lot of times when people, because when we come to like what is, you know, reasonable to be convinced is true, that's when they start playing with like what evidence is, you know, so that they can just like fuck with definitions and then act like, you know, their reasons are evidence, and it just doesn't, that's not the same thing. But yeah, so I always go with like other planets, because I can't prove that other planets exist. I have to like trust certain sources and everything, and then but I can investigate those sources and see like what those, you know, what the evidence is that those sources have evaluated in order to come to the conclusions that they come to, and then I could decide based on that whether or not it's reasonable. Anyway,
my brother. I wouldn't say I believe I have a brother because I know the guy. So knowledge.
Are you saying you don't know that there's a Papua New Guinea?
what is this kid? Kid's just making noises over here. Buddy, can you keep it down? You know, you sound weird, first of all. Okay, sound like you're doing something underneath the sheet or something over there.
No, I'm saying but
Uh-oh.
I know my brother. I wouldn't say I believe I have a brother because I know the guy. So knowledge,
Are you saying you don't know the thing?
What was that, dude? What was that, man? It sounds weirder to me when you just start making noises.
There's a Papua New Guinea?
no, I'm saying I know it in the sense that I accept the authorities from which I learn about it.
Sure.
I trust it.
Well,
And if
for,
I
for
went
clarity,
there-
it's not just relying on authority, it's actual evidence. So you have a belief in a proposition.
Right.
Whether or not it qualifies as knowledge is a separate question, because knowledge is a subset of belief. In philosophy, it would be justified true belief. I tend to use a more kind of colloquial, because I'm a dilettante. I'm an uneducated oaf who just talks a lot. But if you have a proposition and you accept that it's true, that's all I mean when I say I believe it. You either accept it or you don't. If I say I know it, all we generally mean, all most people mean when they say I know something, is that they really, 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 really believe it. They're talking about the confidence level that they have in that
I
proposition.
feel like I haven't heard these kind of talking points from Matt Dillahunty in a long time for some reason. I don't know. It's refreshing. It reminds me of like when I was like deconverting, and he was like actually on the Atheist Experience show, and yeah, it's just interesting. It's just, he has a very different tone. Not that I still like the hang up and everything. It's a great show. I can just tell that he's he's grown. He's different. He has a different energy with the callers these days. Also, I think he's not pinned down by the ACA, and that might be why because ACA's got a lot of fucking rules. You can't like say certain things, you can't say like certain political points, you can't stuff about candidates and shit like that, as well as just a bunch of other kind of like rules that they sort of had, I think. Plus, all that aside, this is like a live debate, so it's not like you can tell them to shut up and hang up the phone. You know what I mean? Like you could say shut up, but then they'd have to keep going, and that's just awkward. You don't want to do that.
Proposition that it is likely true. And when we say I know something, generally we're saying I believe this to the extent that it would be worldview altering to discover it was wrong. And so I believe there's a Papua New Guinea. I would actually argue that I have evidential warrant that there's a Papua New Guinea without actually ever having been there.
Yeah, evidentiary warrant is that's what you want. You know what I mean? And yeah, but it's not perfect, but have to prove supernatural is even possible, let alone what it is. Yeah, it's always like like with methodological naturalism thing, where you basically have to like I'm not saying that supernature doesn't exist or whatever, but like if we don't have a mechanism in order to investigate it, there's no point. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Then all claims are equal, right? Ghosts, gods, fucking everything else. All claims are equal. If it's nothing that we can investigate, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. I don't care. They're all equally false or possibly false or whatever. So a unicorn is as reasonable to believe as a god in that regard. You know what I mean? Even though unicorns are actually kind of like they don't at least have like properties that are self-contradictory like a lot of gods do, but whatever. Won't even get into that.
This is, people used to do the, you don't know there's an Australia. Well, I do now because I've been there. But even before I was there, I think that I had evidentiary warrant for it.
Yeah, but okay, I agree with that.
Okay, but but what if you didn't? Or something like what they always get messed up here when they try to bring up examples. They're like, yeah, but I have fucking reasons to think that shit though. Yeah, okay, but what if but magic though? Shit. What if you just don't know something and just decide that it's because magic? Can't you just think that, just like you think that in Australia is there, even if you haven't been there? It's not the same. Yeah, no, shit.
I know that there's a Papua New Guinea in that sense. Let's take a different example. Let's say I were to tell you I'm from India. Okay. You have no reason to doubt me. You probably believe I'm.
Just said, vibrate your root chakra into alignment with AdamandEve.com today. That's right. Go to AdamandEve.com and enter that code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Just go to AdamandEve.com. Just seriously, thank you. Go to AdamandEve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout and get your butt some stuff. Get your root chakra some vibrations today. They talk about how this, the frequencies, the vibrations, you could actually control the frequencies of the vibrations of your root chakra with a vibrating dildo, not any energy magic stuff. I know it sounds similar. It's not totally, it's like an actual vibration that actually does literally, there's a battery in there. And that's why anyway, go to AdamandEve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout and get your butt some stuff. Okay, thank you, Giselle. That was great. Also, if you want to like, I always forget this part. If you want to like and subscribe, hit the join button, all that type of stuff. I do these almost every day. Also, if you want to become a member, a lot of these end up going for members only as soon as they're done being live. So, it's a good idea to be a member. But all right, thanks. Here we go.
From India.
Yeah.
Now, you don't actually know that.
It depends on what you mean by no.
Well,
and
are you
Oh
100%
my
sure?
goodness.
No, is 100% certainty required for knowledge?
Not necessarily, but
I would
what's
agree.
your bar?
I don't think you can be 100% certain about anything.
Okay.
Which is why I abandon the notion of certainty, which is why when I talk about knowledge, I talk about it as a subset of belief and that is a confidence level. But also, I genuinely don't really.
Thank you. There's a daily dose of wisdom, aka daily dose of copy and paste, near zero effort with a decent camera and high end mic. That is so dead on. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, thank you, Nitty, for reminding me. It's a Punk Apostate. Is this a kid that plays a video for 800% of his content and says 2 fucking sentences? Yep, he's one. He's one of them. Yeah, it was one that was like covered by the genetically modified skeptic the other day. Him and somebody else. Can't think who it was. It Paula Gio? I think it was Paula Gio. They did a video together talking about how there's so many of these folks that just fucking steal. Basically, they steal content. It's not like what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That's what that's why I stop so frequently, because I'm like, I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna do that. No, you're gonna hear me more than you hear the fucking video thing. Okay, that's how this has got to be, because otherwise I feel like I'm cheating here, like they're doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, he is one of those. Also, but what I was going to say is, Nitty reminded me, if you want, I'm trying to get better at like looking at the fucking the chat here. So if you want me to like address it, like put Punk Apostate like Nitty did here, and then that way there's a better chance that I'll see it, because otherwise I'm just going to pick at random. But super chats, of course, always top priority. And then members, and then Punk Apostate at Punk Apostate. So yeah, and I'm going to do my best to try to keep up here. But but thank you, Nitty, for reminding me there.
Really, I'm unimpressed when someone says they know something, because we don't wait till we have knowledge to act. We act in accordance with our beliefs, and whether or not your belief rises to the level of knowledge doesn't change what your action's gonna be.
All right. So let's sort of circle back to where
There
I
we
was
go.
going
See,
with
just like that. Thank you. Great example there. I mean, I guess you could do the at thing, but that's fine. It's it works too. Just if I see that name, I'll click it, or I'll try to. There we go. See, Rev Van Nap, what's up, dude? Said, was it? Hope your day is going good. It is. It's going pretty good so far. It's hanging in there. Been dealing with some health shit or whatever, but I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting past it. I don't know. Seems to be lasting forever, but whatever.
the 3 big questions. And I think
We started with death.
you were in violent agreement that
You started with death.
cause, right, that we
Why
don't
is Matt shouting death?
know, cause of the universe. We don't know any prescribed purpose for our lives. We try to discover it, but we don't know it.
That is such an assumption, dude. Like, you're just saying, like, and you hear how he says, is there any prescribed meaning? Which fucking obviously not. Where's the prescriber, dude? Like, that's sort of the problem here. Is a prescribed fucking meaning in life needs to, if there's a magic that like is like, you guys have a whole meaning that's really important to me, the magic that caused your existence. Where the fuck is it to just tell us that, dude? Like, just show up and be like, hey, here's y'all's meaning. Okay. Don't put it in these fucking ancient books that have like a bunch of contradictions and all this other shit where it just sounds completely insane, like having undead carpenter ghosts living inside of you that you ask into your heart and stuff like that. Like, come on. No, just show up as the magic and be like, oh, by the way, I'm the thing that made you all. I'm a magic. Here's what y'all are supposed to be doing. It took me a while to get here. I got distracted in a nebula back there. Anyway, but yeah, so what y'all are supposed to be doing is you're just organisms trying to survive, and we're going to come back and study you. Which is probably, if there was any intelligence, that's what I would probably assume. But what intelligence led to them? If that, if any, like something had to come into existence here without anything. Anyway.
And we don't know what happens after death.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that anything does, but I definitely would agree. We don't know.
Fair enough. Now, let me ask you this question.
Yeah, we don't have any good reason to think that, because the thing that causes the experience of reality to the individual stops
what do you do about belief when you are in exactly this position? If something is true,
It's crazy how he says, I'm not convinced that anything does happen, when we've seen so many times that there is something that is happening after death. There's so many crazy things that people have found.
No, there's never been an after death, dude, that somebody can talk to. Then it's not a death. If the person can come back and be like, oh, that was weird, they didn't die, man. That's the definition of the fucking word death. Like, it has to stop. It doesn't get to keep going. And then you just say, oh, the heart stopped for a few minutes and they experienced it. That's just like a medical term to establish when the heart stops. That doesn't mean it's like they're fully done. That's why they're still experiencing stuff. And then they're able to be brought back. And time gets all weird when you're doing that. It's almost like if you ever have passed out. Oh, well, we used to pass out a lot back in the day. Probably explains, a lot about my brain function, actually. But and you would do this thing where you would like breathe real heavy, and then you would like breathe on your thumb, or somebody would like press on your neck for a minute or whatever, and like you would experience the weirdest shit. And it would, you'd like wake up and everybody'd be like staring at you, oh man, you passed out, dude. And you'd be like having a whole fucking world of shit that just happened. Like, you were like, man, I was at a castle fighting an alligator with a sword, and then now you guys are here. How did you guys, where's the alligator? Did it go? Is it, that sucker's good at sword fighting, man. So let's be careful over here. That was, right, I passed out. Fuck, I forgot. I forgot all about that. That's right. Yeah, because of it. That was a dream. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, who's next? That was like what would happen a lot.
We've reacted to a guy who says all the time, I mean, he's interviewed people who had near-death experiences. They all have pretty similar stories. That has to come from something.
Have tremendous
No, it doesn't, man. It really doesn't. Is it possible that all those people are either lying, or B, just had a brain that wasn't functioning that great, and so they said what they thought happened? Again, just like my passed out story, like you experience some crazy shit when your brain's like lacking oxygen, right? And time dilates and all this other shit, right? So the experience is not indicative of the fucking reality when it comes to brains not working right. It's like the same fucking thing when people say that, like Jordan Peterson was trying to say in his little conversation with Matt Dillahunty, that the psychedelic drugs or whatever leads to spiritual experiences. And it is like, okay, so he's like, so that's good reason to think that there is something out there beyond our experience. It's like, why would you trust your brain when it's not fucking working right? Like, you literally uploaded a virus into your brain. That's what psychedelic, like, that's what it feels like. I don't know if you've ever done a psychedelic like that, like acid or shrooms or anything. It feels like literally like you uploaded a virus into your brain, and now your brain doesn't work right. Okay, like it literally doesn't. Like, you're thinking things are true that aren't. And that's kind of the fun. You're like worrying about things that are completely absurd, like, the sky falling, or a fucking meteor, because you look up at the stars and they're moving, and you're like, oh man, the sky's literally falling right now. Like, there's all sorts of shit because your brain isn't working right. So whatever experience you have when your brain is in that fucked up state, it's not indicative of the reality. Obviously, like, it's just silly that they, people can make these types of leaps or whatever.
For example, you would concede that if there was life after death, that would greatly affect the way we think about life on Earth now.
Mm-hmm.
It would,
depending on what that life looks like.
Mm-hmm. Very good. You're adding a lot here, buddy. I'm really glad you're here, solidifying some of D'Souza's points there. What you said, you spoke for like 10 seconds about the fucking near-death experiences thing, as if you didn't hear anything that was said earlier about like having reasons to believe things are true. Because anyway, Jesus Christ.
And depending on whether or not anything in this life had any impact on that life.
Correct. But right.
Yes.
So let's just say if the religious narratives are correct, and there is some sort of cosmic justice in which, let's just say, the crimes that are the undiscovered crimes of this life have to be accounted for in a future life, we would probably have to start thinking about all the stuff that we get away with in private.
Okay. See, now he's moving into fucking morality, objective morality, or absolute morality, whatever we would call it, cosmic morality. I don't even know what to call it because it's not objective. But anyway, Michael Bell said the VA gave me ketamine. Oh shit! They had an out of body experience. Hashtag true story. Fuck yeah, dude. No, I've been seeing on Facebook and stuff. They're like, "Do you want to try the ketamine therapy or whatever?" And I guess they like send you some like briefcase or something. I don't know. And then you put on these headphones and and listen to shit, in your ears while you take this. It's just, I guess, just alters your perception right to all fucking get out. And then you've come out of it going, boy, that felt good. That was like a meditation right there. That was a deep, deep meditation, like a drug fueled one, which is hard to come by. As far as meditation goes, but wow, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I've been seeing those. I also see there's this is funny. There's this company. I don't know if they're still open, to be honest. It was called Silo Vibe, and it was like PESY, like psilocybin, whatever. And they said it's a church, right? And it was like legal to microdose or whatever on shrooms as long as you go through that church or whatever, and you just sign up, and it's like, our holy sacrament is, you guessed it, mushroom. So like they send you like little capsules or whatever, so that you can microdose for mental health sake or whatever. That's kind of funny, but I'm like, that's one way to get around it, and I think that actually fucking works because the US of A. That's why, because religion, you get a magic exemption. Like, but I believe in magic though. Well, then we gotta let you do whatever you want, I guess. I don't think shit.
Because even though we escape human accounting, there would be some sort of presumably divine accounting. So in other words, all I'm trying to establish is that there's a relevance to these questions, even if we don't definitively know anything about them.
Yeah. Ember said, yeah, NDEs are all selection bias. Muslims have a different experience. Hindus have a different experience. And I had a very different, Ember even had a very different experience. They are not all the same. No, exactly. And you have to control for that. That's exactly like one of the things that make gathering data for experimentation or objectively verifiable data, like that's a big part of it. It's control, like a control for data selection. Because if you don't have a control for data selection, you can just pick the best stuff and nobody can say, like, you know what I mean? They did that with fucking charter schools, which I don't know if anybody knows this. Charter schools particularly piss me the fuck off. Like I can't stand charter schools, right? They're bullshit. And one of the studies that they use to supposedly demonstrate that charter schools are better had no selection control, right? And so they were just like, oh, we just happened to pick these 8 schools. These are the ones. Like, okay, but how did you pick them? We picked them. They're pretty random. And like, how did you decide that they were random? We decided that they were like, okay, well, you're a right-wing group trying to say that like capitalist shit works better than government shit. So like, of course you're going to pick the 8 best ones. And they fucking did. People were able to go back and go, okay, but like all these over here, like if we took the actual data, like you clearly picked like the 8 best fucking schools, you idiot. Like what the hell is happening? It's like, but yeah, so it didn't even get past like peer review and shit like that. But even still, the irony there, even still, they don't even like they already would be doing better anyway because they don't have to deal with special needs. They don't have to deal with behavioral issues. They don't have to deal with fucking wheelchairs 90% of the time. So like they already are setting themselves up to like be seen as a better school just because they don't let anybody that would be like kind of difficult to teach in the fucking school to begin with. Anyway. I hate charter schools. I don't know if that's just, anyway, that's what I'm saying. It's like I get off on a tangent when I think of charter schools, but point is, I actually don't. Oh, data selection. Yeah. Anyway, what Ember said, because she was right.
Anything about the answer matters which way we go.
I agree the answer matters. It's just that the answer right now is I don't know. And you can play the what if game for any one of them. What if there's nothing? What if it's the end? What if there's a being who's going to judge you based on whether or not you fell for things without sufficient evidence? What if that's the criteria?
Okay, so what you see?
Yeah. What if that?
So what you see?
What if that, D'Souza? Huh? Yeah. You see the kids like, well, shit, I would be going to hell then. Because I kind of am just really easily convinced of silly things. And then I just sit here and it's a little box in the corner that people forget I even exist for video. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I just
Seem to say is I think about something, and if I really can't answer the question, right, I take the default position that that something doesn't exist until evidence shows up that's going to convince me it does.
Of course,
That's your view.
that is
Of course.
sound epistemology. That
Sound
accepting,
epistemology according to whom?
accepting
According to you.
Sure. We'll
Okay.
just go according to me because I don't need to cite anybody else.
Right.
Because I'm right.
See, you like that one. Like, because I'm right.
Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Because
Let's
Let's see if you're right.
the alternative would be to say that I'm justified in believing something before there's sufficient evidence for it.
But I would argue that you do that every day. Let's give you a cardinal example.
But that doesn't change the fact whether I should.
You
The fact
should.
that
I do believe in cardinals, though. Why would an example involving cardinal? We can prove cardinals. All right, I'm just kidding. I know a cardinal means something. Anyway,
No, I'm saying you.
We're
do and
all
you
going to
should.
make mistakes.
You
and
should.
that
things.
was a dad joke. That's what that was.
Do and you should. Look, our life is always lived in anticipation of an unknown future, right? You're dating a woman,
Yeah.
and
One of those. I mean, so you're saying they get public funds? Okay, so Lord Disson said, Punk Apostate, what about the charter science and technology schools? Those are awesome. Are those like after high school? Because if they're like after high school or whatever, I'm cool with that. But I mean, if they're schools that are taking public funds and are slashing all of the standards that public schools usually need to meet because they're for the public, which is everybody. And you can't just say like, oh, but we don't accept this people, this value, and we don't have to stay to these standards and do all this other stuff. But you can choose us as a publicly funded option. Then I don't know what exactly you're talking about there, but as long as it's not part of the public school budget, I don't care. But I thought that was the point of charter schools, is that they get public funding and then they act like an independent entity, and then they can basically fire people without unions or anything like that, as well as just all sorts of shit that just basically brings the standards down to fucking zero, which is why they close down so often. But anyway, so I don't know. Let me know. Oh, he hasn't responded yet. Let me know if it's like an after school thing or something, if it's like after high school or whatever, because that's fine. I don't care about that. But as far as taking public funds for lower standards, not a good idea.
and so what you do is, you being a very reasonable guy, this data, right?
What was that? What was it? You being this reasonable guy, it's just you're not. Okay, that's what these are there for. Okay.
About this woman, and you're trying to make a rational decision. Let's say, is this the woman I want to spend my life with? Let's assume you're thinking about that question.
For the sake of your argument, we'll assume I'm thinking about that.
Okay. Now, I would argue that in reality, given the way human beings are, you could never really know what life with this person is going to be like, let's just say over the next 30 years. First of all,
This
you'll
is
be
not-
different
oh
people
my
in 10
God.
years,
How
different
is this?
people in
Oh,
30
yeah,
years.
dude.
So this question about what it's going to be like is
So what's up, man? How you doing?
unanswerable with any high degree of certainty. Correct?
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I, unlike many religions, actually support the notion of divorce, and I'm opposed to the notion that there's a soulmate out there that you're going to be ever.
Okay, so it is a high school. So I would say I think that it would be better off being a publicly funded program for a public school. You know how like you have public schools that are like more for like the arts programs and stuff like that. They're like they get extra funding for the arts programs. Like if it was just a normal public school that was innovation and science, as like what it is, what it's all about, or whatever, and provides those extra that extra curriculum and everything. That's cool. The problem is it's charter, so it's treating a public option like it is a private entity, and so that means you can fire everybody. You can, you can slash the standards. You can do all sorts of shit because it's kind of outside the purview of public school standards. because it's a private. They consider it a private entity, and that's what's wrong with it. They're trying to do this thing where like, oh, but we can make money off of publicly educating people, and it's like, dude, sometimes like the best thing to do doesn't make any money. The shit that's actually good for society doesn't make fucking money. You know what I mean? So treating it like a private institution, I just don't think it's a good idea. But those kinds of schools that are like, if they I think they should put more interest in those type of things, like in public schools, though, that would be part of the public budget and they would accommodate everybody and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So
everything to forever. If we're both in agreement that we don't know what the future holds, I don't make a decision
But
to
if
say.
you'll pardon me, that's a tediously predictable response. I'm not going there. Where I'm going with
Hold on. What do you say?
Everything to forever. If we're both in agreement that we don't know what the future holds, I don't make a decision
But
to
if
say.
you'll pardon me, that's a tediously predictable response. I'm not going there. Where I'm going with
Oh,
is
I
the
didn't
fact.
think you were going there.
No, because right. Where I'm really going with is the fact that in making a decision of whether or not to be with this person, yes or no,
Yeah, but
you are necessarily.
Ever said Dinesh is a deepity wrapped in sophistry, stuffed in a red hat. I like that. The red hat. It's a good touch. Yeah, and he doesn't even really seem to do it very well. Like, I don't know. It sounds almost like he's trying to sound like he's being profound. And I hate to fucking say this, and nobody better clip this out. And I mean that shit. Okay. Jordan Peterson does it better. He's better at sounding like he's a sophistry. What did you call it? Sophistry stuffed in or deepity sophistry stuffed in a red hat. Jordan Peterson's better at that. He just is, because if you don't know shit about shit and you hear him say literally fucking anything, he can ask where the goddamn bathroom is. And like, that is a fucking smart guy over there. He asked where the bathroom is like a motherfucking genius. That was crazy. I'm gonna ask for bathrooms like that from now on. That was so cool, man. I feel like I already forgot some of the words that he used. I'm gonna have to like get a dictionary or something for this, or a thesaurus probably. Yeah. Either way, both the thesaurus and
Taking a huge leap of faith.
No.
Yeah.
No. See, that's the thing.
The problem is he only has a problem with a Christianity worldview of saying you should not get divorced. It's not good. It's not okay. It's a sin.
What the fuck are you talking? So you're not listening to your own video. So he's listening to fucking music in there. All right. He's not even paying attention to the goddamn video. He's overplaying fucking Candy Crush and listening to a fucking EDM. I don't know. What do kids that look like that listen to? They don't listen to what I listen to. That's for goddamn sure.
And that's what the problem is with this man. He's like, well, that's actually not any faith at all because I could just get a divorce. They changed. Then why get married then?
Not the point at all, dude. Holy shit, dude. They're talking about your confidence in a oh my god. They're talking about like being confident in a particular belief. That's the context of what we're talking about here. It's like, so it doesn't matter if divorce is an option either whether you're a Christian or not. So it doesn't fucking matter, dude. Like, this is a complete it's not listening to what they're saying at all. Or at least it's not understanding it.
Married, you're committing your life. That's literally what it is. Committing your life to someone before God for the rest of your life, to that person. And then why would you want to get married?
I'm glad I'm not the other. Like, did they switch gears on me? And I'm completely confused. I must have misheard something. I must have been reading the chat when they switched to fucking divorce as like being moral or not.
Then if you know that divorce is okay, just don't get married then. Getting married is showing that you want to spend the rest of your life with them. That is what it is for.
Yeah, that's that exactly. Either way, man, that's either way, whether you're a Christian or not. That is exactly the point, which is why if you're supposed to like, you're asking about your confidence in something you don't know. The either of them know whether or not the relationship will work out or if it will end up being a nightmare 15, 20 years down the line or whatever. And that's the point. Do you dedicate to the belief that might not be the case? I still don't really understand how this is relevant to like, what happens after you fucking die, the meaning or purpose of life or whatever the other one was. I forget. Like, why we're here in the universe at all.
I operate my life, and maybe I'm a weirdo,
You are. It's okay. Yeah, we're awesome. Us weirdos are great.
So, for
Look
example,
at your jacket. I mean, come on. I feel like you don't even have to say maybe. I'm just saying, because I'm a fucking weirdo. Because look at my jacket, dude. I'm a fucking weirdo. That's fine.
in this case, I have no plans to end this relationship, and neither does she. But we are both adults, and there were 2 rules: be honest, have fun. That's it. That's all.
Wow.
Be honest, enjoy life. And as long as we're both honest, we can reevaluate the nature of our relationship at any point. I am friends with every one of my exes, including my ex-wife.
Okay, this is really good. Amber said, Jordan Peterson doesn't ask where a bathroom is. He asks what the symbolic nature of having space where biology is walled off from human life means for masculinity. Then I cried. And then he cries. Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck. That was good. It's funny because when it comes to Jordan Peterson, I feel like the voice is the easy part, right? Like everybody can do a Jordan Peterson voice. It's the coming up with the fucking words part, I think, that is hard. And it's like, I still have not really seen anybody be able to do it really good. I've seen some really good voices, but as far as like the just like this, the way that he talks like a weirdo, it's like I'm weirder than a weirdo. Like his jackets look way weirder than this one. Okay, he makes Jordan Peterson's jackets make this one look like it's fucking Men's Warehouse in the front fucking window. You know what I mean?
We went into it with this optimism that perhaps we would spend the rest of our lives together, and with the realistic notion that it doesn't happen. Anybody who the divorce rate's 50 some odd %, anybody who goes into a marriage now thinking, we're never going to get divorced, is already in opposition with the actual data. And so I, as a huge proponent of David Hume, one of my favorite quotes from him is that the wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. So my confidence in any proposition, including this particular relationship lasting until I die, is based on whatever.
Fucking what, dude? Where do you get? That's like atheism verified psychologically to have a destructive mindset. Okay, do you have evidence of that? I mean, if you're saying that there is like psychological benefits to like being a part of a community or whatever, and that type of stuff, yeah, that's true. And there were those studies that were done where it said that if people were religious, they like reported having a better well-being. The problem with that is that reporting that you have a good well-being is sort of like brainwashed into the cult a lot of times, because if you ask fucking cult members that are literally doing slave labor all the time and are completely brainwashed by a cult leader, they'll tell you that their well-being is fucking phenomenal. Okay, they're like, it's great. I love not having any autonomy, and I actually don't decide anything for myself, and it's freeing. It's freeing to not have to think ever. Okay, and it said how often that is a fact, that people are like, I just don't want to think. Like, I'd rather not make my own decisions. Thank you very much, because I'm kind of bad at it, and that seems to be where people get that kind of it's easy to manipulate them or whatever, right? But that being said, that study having that, they didn't, I don't think, address that particular problem. But another problem is that they showed that like the same studies also demonstrated that any atheists that were part of any kind of social network or community that was an active community, whether it be like a fucking bowling league or something like that, reported the exact same outcomes, right? And they didn't have to be believing in magic and didn't have to be open for people to manipulate them. So I just, like saying that you believe in silly things is better for you, and because somehow you're like mentally better off believing that after you die, you go to a magical amusement park in the sky, maybe the kid's better off if they believe that the dog, didn't actually die. It went up to the fucking farm upstate. But can't people believe in true things and also have a good psychological state? Is that possible? Just saying. I think that we should work towards that. We should work towards people being able to be real about how reality actually works, and also be psychologically okay, and figure out a way to be both those things, right? We shouldn't have to be lying to ourselves to just be psychologically okay. But I don't even think that's actually the case, because again, theists fucking lie. They self-report that they're just so super happy all the time, because that's baked into it. You have the joy of the Lord, you better report, and then they have these like plastic smiles where they look like they They look like they're from that fucking movie Smile. That's what they look like. They're like, I am so happy right now. It's great. Like they'll cry at the fucking drop of a dime. They like hear some like happy, emotional sounding music. They're because the trauma is just building up and they can't do nothing about it. So they break down every fucking week. Anyway, but no, they report being happier. So Jesus, it's funny. Nitty said, it's not just Christian that rejects divorce. Also, other religions do not make it a sin. So this kid can't steal man anything. Yeah, because I mean, well, and that's a good point too. It's like, what the hell? I don't even know what the kid was on about, dude. Like, what the hell is he even responding to? Like, is he watch? I don't think he's watching the same thing. Honestly, I think he like picked up the last fucking word and just started saying shit.
Data I have. I don't have some delusion that some other people want to run around all the time. I've found the person and we're definitely going to be together forever because life is uncertain. And it seems that rather than engaging in that self-deception, I'm fine saying, this is what I hope happens. I hope that I am with you for the rest of my life. Okay. I hope that.
Interesting. Okay. And it's like a comment that I know I'm dealing with the theist in the chat here, y'all, but needs to be done sometimes. So Master Maverick said, this is why atheists, much like racists, seek to form communities based on what they dislike. Which, no, that's not true, man. 90% of us that are in communities, atheist communities, were raised fundamentalist or some version of a Christian religion. So we're like, we've been through the brain blender that is religion, right? And so that's what we know about. That's what we think about. That's what we were programmed from birth to think about. I was at church every fucking day, dude. Every day. Okay. I did some days, two different things. Like on Sundays, it was morning and night. I was at church Sunday through fucking Sunday. I was programmed to think about this shit constantly. So it's weird when y'all like, so you guys, just get a community around what you don't believe. And it's like, yeah, because we were programmed to believe it. So it's kind of on our mind, you know? It's weird how that fucking works, huh? But yeah. Same as racist, though. That's what
the rest of our lives or whatever.
It's given that like most racist organizations are Christian and the fucking first commandment is racist. But yeah, that's all right.
But I don't have an unrealistic expectation.
But don't you make plans?
That's good. And to think that like if he has this in his mindset, the stats say we might get divorced, so I can't say that we're never not going to get divorced. I think having that in
is that what he fucking said? I don't think that's what he's. Hold on, I think this good is again not listening, but I wasn't listening because I was talking to Miss Maverick, dude. What's up, Maverick? How you doing? I actually like that name because that's a good movie.
Rest of our lives or whatever, but I don't have an unrealistic expectation.
But don't
the Top Gun one, the other Maverick movies are right too. You know, it's good from the old show. It was good with Burt anyway, but it was pretty good.
you make plans?
That's good. And to think that like
Hold on.
If I hope certain, and it seems that rather than engaging in that self-deception, I'm fine saying, this is what I hope happens. I hope that I am with you for the rest of my life. I hope that, or for the rest of our lives or whatever, but I don't have an unrealistic expectation.
But don't you make plans?
Yeah, you make plans based on your optimistic hope for whatever it might be, but like that's what the foundation of reality as the basis, dude. That's not the same thing as being like, I hope there's a magic, so I just got to do all this stuff and then try to control governments and stuff to force everybody to have to be able to do things because you're so fucking convinced that your magic that you just hope for is actually true. That's not how we do things, man. That's not how we should do things. We should only, be convinced of things if we have good reason to think them. If you want to be a Christian, that's fine, dude. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, you got to admit at least to yourself that it's like, I don't know if this is true, but I just kind of hope this is true, whatever. I'd respect Christians a lot more if they behaved that way. Problem is, they don't. They just act like they're already fucking right. All of them, by the way, even the ones that disagree with themselves, because there's 45,000 different denominations, and none of them agree as to like what the doctrines should be, because there is no fucking objective standard, even just for their fucking religion. So it's like, it just ends up being a mess down the line, but whatever, think whatever the fuck you want, man, but just live and let live. And please stop, trying to force people to live in accordance with a religion we don't believe in.
That's good. And to think that like if he has this in his mindset, the stats say we might get divorced, so I can't say that we're never not going to get divorced. I think having that in the back of your mind makes it 10 times more easy for you to get divorced.
And make plans for.
I mean, you're saying, I don't think that's what he was saying. He was just saying, like, you're going to go, like, you're going to hope not to get divorced, but it does happen a lot. And it's okay to, like, mentally prepare for that possibility. But let's hope that that possibility isn't true. Why? This is weird that they have to go to this direction to be like, this is how we know magic is real. This is how we know a magic being is the cause of the universe and a fucking cause of the meaning that we should have prescribed to us by some person that's somebody else that tells us what should be meaningful to us. You know, and and what happens after you die? How the fuck does this have anything to do with any of that shit?
For tomorrow, because that's the pragmatic.
You don't buy insurance. You don't build homes. You don't make plans. You don't.
Insurance is exactly a good. Why bring up insurance? Don't even do this. Is your debate, buddy. Don't bring up insurance because insurance is the fucking thing that you get when things could go poorly. You literally spend money on things. It's like prenups too, man. You know, people do prenups just in case type shit. You know, that's not what religious people do. They don't have like, oh, I got a just in case I'm wrong fucking insurance for Christianity. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, no, they've just decided that they're already right about the thing they think they're right about. And that's it.
You don't put money into a 401k, and you don't put money into educational funds.
Yes,
you do. Right. So in other words,
that's because I have a reasonable confidence based on data about how long I'm likely to live and what benefits are likely to be rewarded from there.
Based
it's
on
not an exercise of faith.
Let me ask you this:
because what you're talking about is confidence in the absence of certainty. But my confidence is proportional to the evidence. The fact that there isn't certainty about the future doesn't mean that it's an exercise of faith.
Yeah, see, he's equivocating the word faith. They do this all the fucking time, man. It's so annoying. It's just like every single time you've been to a church and you heard him do that sermon about the fucking chair. Like, I have faith that this chair will hold me up. Really? Are you fucking blind? You can't see it? No, like you can see, like, look at it. Is it structurally sound visually? If not, if you put your hand down on it before you sit down, you're like kind of checking its sturdiness and stuff. And also, we know chairs exist. We know that there are things that 99.9% of the time hold you up. It's not the same thing as believing that an undead carpenter ghost lives inside of you that you pretend to cannibalize and you cry when you sing songs about it or whatever. Like, it's not the same fucking thing. That would be like, there's no chair. And you're like, I can sit in a chair, but there's no chair there. And then we're like, okay, sit in the chair. Like, I'd rather not. I just have faith that it will hold me up. There's no, I know. I'm not going to test it. No, God says not to test it. The chair does not like to be tested in that way. Okay. It just doesn't. It's going to let me fall right through it because I'm not supposed to test it. So I'm there, but there is a chair there that I could sit in, but I won't. That's like faith for like what they're actually saying. That's religious faith.
I'm saying that the evidence you're invoking is bogus because according to you, if the divorce rate were 5%, you would make lifetime plans because according to you, there's a much higher chance, 95% probability.
No, that's not remotely what I said.
Well, it is kind of what you said.
I would make lifetime plans because I hope to have a lifetime, not because what the divorce rate is. Well, I know what the life expectancy is for people in the United States. For me, roughly, I can make a rough guess as to, barring some other consequences, how long I'm going to live. So of course I'm going to plan for the future. You plan for what you were optimistically hoping for, but I could get hit by a bus out here in New York, where, by the way, it doesn't matter which direction.
It's those damn New York bus drivers. Okay, they barely even look. They drive like that fucking Jamaican guy in Harry Potter. Yeah.
You're walking down these streets, the wind is always in your face.
Sorry,
that may be true. Look, I
fucking wind. Hate it.
I think life is lived in the moment. We look at memory as a reliable, although not very reliable, account of the past.
Love how he passes that back like real quick. We look at memory as something that totally works out well. Actually, no, it kind of doesn't. It's actually notoriously unreliable. Fuck.
But we trust it. Even though, again, if someone were to demand we substantiate that trust, we'd be a little hard-pressed to do it.
Have you ever seen people, like, get like people that like grew up together or whatever get in an argument about something that happened when they were like 11 and they remember it perfectly, you know, but they both remember it completely different with completely different situations. And they're like, no, you went over here, I was over there, and you did not know. That's when the thing happened. You know, and it's because your memory changes over time. The more times you remember something, you're not remembering the original thing. It's not like you're replaying an actual tape. You're recreating your memory every single time you remember it. And so each time you remember it, you're building it from the last time you remembered it. So if you get something wrong the last time you remembered it, that continues on, and then it just keeps going like a bad game of fucking telephone. And that's how memories work. It's like all those people that you know, thought they remembered exactly where they were during 9/11, and then when actually investigated, they found out like, oh no, that's not even, it wasn't even possible. I manufactured that memory, you know. But it's like, it's not, you know, it's just an interesting thing. It's notoriously unreliable, which is why we need evidence outside of storytelling, people's memories.
It would be
Memory is very selective. Other people remember different things
Yeah,
than you
that's
remember,
funny.
and
Yeah.
so on. And life has an unknown future stretching in front of us. Now, at all times in history, people are in huge ignorance about the world, large parts of which in the past were completely unknown. If I was Socrates walking in Athens in the 5th century BC, and I looked up in the sky, I'd see 7 stars. Right? Now, if I was taking the rationalist position, I would say, well, I see 7 stars. I have no reason to believe that there are any more stars in the sky. And
Hang on, just for clarity.
yes,
Are you saying this is remotely accurate, or is this just an example? Because anybody who thinks that back then people only saw 7 stars, I got problems with.
no, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. I'm using the
Okay.
limited radius of our empirical knowledge.
Just, I knew that. Just for your benefit, it's an analogy. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know,
So here's how it works, dude. That not all, you know how like not all thumbs are fingers, but all all right, not all fingers are thumbs, but not all thumbs are fingers. But thumbs aren't fingers. It works like that. Not all Christians are hateful, but all of the hateful people, as far as you know, white nationalists go, are Christian. I mean, that's just the way it always is. Just look at the KKK. Like they are like the, what is that, like onward Christian soldiers and shit. Like all of the hate groups have like a Christian foundation. That's sort of, and again, it's like built off of the first commandment, which is like all the other people that worship other gods are bad, you know, because they're all breaking a commandment just for being different, just for worshiping a different God. Your 10 commandments are from the very beginning inherently racist. It just is.
so the ancients knew the earth is round and so on. But the point here is that you have this limited body of data. But if you really reflect on the data and you also reflect on yourself, right away you see, hey, I'm Socrates. I've never
The fuck is he
moved
going on
5
about?
miles
What the hell is he talking about? What is with this with Socrates and looking at the stars? What the,
away from the place I was born. I don't even know how big the earth is. There could very well be a whole bunch of other stars out there. And just because I have not 1 ounce of empirical evidence for them, I can't be close to them or declare them out of bounds or declare that my whole life has to be lived without regard to that possibility.
Well,
Because it's a very real possibility.
so let's say you and I both lived on this particular plot of land in New York our entire lives, and we had only ever seen 7 stars.
Right.
I'm not ruling out the possibility that there are 7 other stars. I'm
Right.
dealing with people who are saying there are more than 7 stars, and they can provide no evidence for it.
Right. But let's just
That's
say that
not right though. There are
that's the thing. They act like they're right about shit they can't demonstrate. That you know that they're right about. Like that's the problem, man. It's the people pretending to know shit that we're going no to, and then they're trying to put this back on us and be like, oh well, you're saying you know that everything is the way that you know it to be, and it's like, no, I'm just not convinced you're fucking right about it. How is this difficult?
are so many things that could point to a creator, so many things that point to intelligent design. More
Like what, man? Like shit that is actually like, no, it's not. It's just you having like lacking the creativity to figure out how things could exist without a magic, because you can't understand the logical problem of a creator then needing a creator, because that's your logical argument. This is too impressive to not be created. Okay, well then wouldn't the God be impressive then? And that would need a creator and on back. It's a logical problem for you. They never seem to understand that.
More than anything, we see even atheists now are saying, "Oh wow, so amazing how it's not even this." They even hate the word saying it's chance now because that just seems so stupid.
You don't understand chance, man. It's a 1-to-1 chance that humanity exists. This is like never mind. It's too much because see, this is the thing. Like people are intuitively terrible at fucking odds and chance and shit like that. That's why I think but the odds of it are, you can't calculate odds if you don't know, like if you don't have a baseline, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have anything. There is no goal or anything to the universe that anybody can demonstrate. So they're just calculating odds out of infinity, which would make it a 1-to-1 ratio. If something is possible and you're calculating it out of infinity, which it seems like our universe possibly could be infinite, right? If you're calculating it out of infinity, then it is inevitable. It's not just probable, it's fucking inevitable. It's absolutely going to happen because that's how calculating out of infinity has to work. But like, not only that, this is just like a post hoc rationalization. It's like if you threw the football or the basketball back, right, behind your head, and you're from center court or whatever, and it goes through the basketball on your first try, right? And then you turn around and go, "Oh my God, that's impossible. There must be a fucking witch around. There's a witch around here guiding that ball. That's the only way that could have happened. That was way too perfect." Right? How did he even do that? But it's possible that the ball could have just gone through there. We've seen things like that happen. You're just looking at it after the fact going, "Man, that's fucking impossible." But it's not. That's the thing. And then on the planet where life came into existence, we're just looking back at it after the fact going, "Man, that is just too perfect. Everything that had to be planned." That's all this is. It's just a post hoc rationalization.
But they say it's so
in hindsight bias too.
crazy. It seems like a design. It's so wow.
Yeah, it seems like it's designed to people that have kind of been programmed to think that since birth. But yeah,
Striking crazy wildness. But they still won't say it's a creator, even though they see time and time again that it seems like there was a design put into process.
There isn't though. There isn't like a design. Like if things were designed to be what they are, why the fuck? Like if the whole planet was made just for humans, why the hell can we only inhabit it like 11%? You got like 3/4 of the motherfucker covered with water, and you're like, "Oh well, humans drink water," and then no, you do. It's salt water. It kills you. Yeah, so it's not even like it's not even made for us properly. And then you take out all the polar ice caps, right? The bottom, top and bottom, and then you take out all the mountains and all the areas that are just uninhabitable as far as like being too cold and deserts, the center of deserts and shit like that. We can only inhabit like 10% of this motherfucker, of this thing that was made just for us by a perfect God that intelligenced us into existence all on purpose. Or maybe we came into existence through natural means and the universe actually doesn't give a fuck about us, and neither does the earth, and neither does anything. We just happen to evolve and then look back at it and go, "Man, that's really impressive that this happened with us." That's all it is, man.
A code that makes everything run and come into motion. And atheists just say there's none at all. That's mind-boggling.
Is there no code? Like, I don't know what they always say the word code too. I don't know if they're like talking about DNA or I don't know, gravity or something like that. But like codes are things that humans put on reality so that we can better understand it. There isn't an actual code out there. That's how we can better understand it, by applying it to a code, and then we can mess with that code. That way we have kind of like a way to investigate shit to much more specificity. That's it. But anyway, hey, thanks y'all for hanging out. This is a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting that to be so entertaining. He talked like twice this time, so that's pretty good. He's getting up there. He might have gotten a letter from YouTube being like, "You got to talk more, kiddo. Okay, I don't know what you think you're doing here, but you can't just put out other people's content and then act like it's yours." I don't, And it's funny too, because it's like he doesn't even really. I mean, I guess I don't know. It doesn't sound like he has much to say. Most of the time, this is interesting because it's a debate. 9 times out of 10, this kid is just like watching some theist say something, and he's just like, "Yup, what he said. That was super smart and cool, right? Okay, see you next time. Thanks for, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment below. Amen. 7 times though, because it takes 7 words for the algorithm to pick up that there's conversations happening below. So just amen 7 times. That'd be great. That way the algorithm, just do it though. Just write in the comments what I tell you. No, but if you want to say anything about anything I said, you can tell me in the comments though. Do I get anything wrong? Do you think Matt did a good job here? Is his jacket not weird? Who's better, Jordan Peterson or Dinesh D'Souza at the sophistry word salad thing? DPD, the sophistry word salad thing. Who's better? All these are great questions, I think, that can all be answered in the comments below. And make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this content. But all right, Joe, I gotta head out. Man, I have like a lung thing that's been just going on forever and it sucks. But I'm like running out of breath. But all right, yeah. And if you want to play with sex toys, I don't know. Go to adamandeve.com. There's supposed to be a segue there, but it's lung failure is moving into dildo. There's not really a through line there. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. And Adam and Eve is America's #1 sex toy dispensary catalog that is just incredible. The packaging is discreet, so you don't have to worry about that. They always got deals going on, so if you want to check that out. And the packages come quickly, and so can you. Go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley, and get everything from masturbators, lube, to BDSM beatdown toys. I'm not even kidding. They got it up there. Anyway, it's great. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley. But hey, and if you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you can go to do a bunch of other shit, right? There's you can become a patron at patreon.com/Punk Apostate. You can just do a one-time thing if you want to just do that on Cash App. And cash tag is Punk Apostate. You can also hit the membership button. If you hit the like button too, I'd really appreciate it. That just really does help. So if you want to just hit that little thumb, it means a lot to me personally. It warms my heart. And yeah, become a member and you get like an extra live stream just for members already every week. And then a lot of these live streams switch to members right away, and then I'll just take clips out of them. So you might want to just become a member. That way you just get access to all of the live streams, whether you catch them live or not, But yeah, also join the Discord and follow me on all the socials, and all those links will be below. But hey, the main thing though is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate, and we'll see you next time. But there's like a